Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and if you are up for disasters, don't worry, because we might have some coming your way when it comes to Erangel. That sounds a bit bleak, but what do I mean by that? Well, gentlemen, we had Froz and Avenger over here. So far, when it comes to our Erangel games this week, they've been all over the place. They have been here nor there. We've had multiple different winners kind of coming in from all different angles, and some weird moves by some teams throughout our Erangel games.
We can't take it away from the Reciprocity, Gemty Shack, and Winstrike.
That one was weird.
That was a weird game, and I think that topped out everything. But definitely we've had some fun endings.
Yeah.
I would like to see some more varied endings a little bit. That would be super nice to see.
Like a Yesnaya ending on...
A Yesnaya
Give us the urban!
The Yesnaya ending would be great. I would like to see a Stalba. I would like to see maybe a Saki ending. I haven't seen a Saki ending in so long, and I love those.
Well, yesterday we had the CrowCrowd win when we had the 4 versus 4 versus 4, I believe it was. Was it Liquid and Reciprocity that were in that towards the end? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
So that was kind of an interesting one. A very slow ending, though, due to the kind of terrain that they had to play with.
Well, they honestly, they know that the first team that takes a big fight and loses a few guys, then the other team is just going to third party, and you're going to win for that. So they were trying to manage the circle, try to get some opening kills there, and I actually expected Liquid to come out a bit more on top of that. They sent 2 guys to push solo a few times, and it was questionable at best, I would say, some of the moves they did. I felt like they could have taken on CrowCrowd or Reciprocity head on head faster and maybe won that a bit better rather than being taken out a bit there.
Yeah, but what I think is that, sure, Liquid took the fight against Reciprocity, and we're talking about on the southeast of Severny ending there. What could have happened is that maybe Liquid got 1 knock and 1 kill on Reciprocity, and then they would fall back on that because, all right, they weakened that team. They know that they can fall back. They have the upper hand against them. Now focus on CrowCrowd, try to take them down, and then they can fight on from there.
Yeah, but they were smoking the edges. So when you have a circle, especially in Phase 7, they're trying to smoke their own way on the edges, try to make a flank, which made the flank extremely obvious. Instead, if you smoke the middle and smoke both teams off, you use less smokes to cover more space as well, and cover more of your own moves. And you could have seen some bit different there, but I'm curious to see how they're gonna approach it today. We have 2 more games of Erangel, and I really want to see a G2 win to make a record-breaking day, both in terms of most wins in a day, but also in the most points in a day, because that will also mean it'll open up our top 4 even more than it is right now.
Definitely would, as our players make their way back to their battle stations here. And you can also notice when we actually watch all of these players going back to their booths that there's a lot of intermingling between the teams. Everyone's very, very friendly with each other, seemingly here in the European scene as a whole. Everybody very familiar with each other in terms of playstyle as well as just kind of a friendship sake. So that's one really cool thing I feel about like PUBG in general, because you don't see this in every single game.
So what you don't see, sure, you see a little bit here, but what you don't see behind the scenes is also like a lot of them, they hang out with each other, like when they're not playing during the weekdays as well.
They play football outside as well right now.
Yeah, right.
The teams are throwing.
I saw the football and I was like, is that a bowling ball?
Raise your edge or 6
and Knights, Knights.
And then Knights joined in, and I mean, hey, it's just good times.
You know, I would like to see a full-on Battle Royale football match.
Football match.
Yeah.
Okay. If you... actually, no, I'm not
even going to present that. What kind of rules would that be?
I don't know.
Look at this, though.
Everybody, it's just multiple goals and you just score.
Well, let's take a look at the overall standings here at the moment. 10 points stand between Razor Edge as well as TSM there, down towards 5th and 6th. Interestingly enough, though, G2 has scored mega points, and now they're in striking distance of number 1. And as the days get shorter, as we get towards our last 2 weeks here, that number 1 spot is very valuable indeed when it comes to prize pool.
ENCE has also jumped out of the relegation zone, 2 points ahead now of M19. Here we see a comparison. Look at that damage comparison.
Big.
Na'Vi is grinding damage. This is actually insane. Considering the kills difference of all, G2 has 5 more kills, but the damage difference there, that's...
It comes down to G2's playstyle, right? In the early circles, a lot of the times you would see them on the edge, just trying to shoot people because they're scouting and shooting people, not doing much because they're planning for up ahead. They go deeper in the later circles, and that's when they actually start acting.
Look at that. A familiar face has joined our top 5. Tixu with 96 kills. And I think it's safe to say that Tixu has been one of the reasons that Winstrike has been doing so good recently.
Sure.
Obviously fragging out as well, but also standing up. I feel like taking a bit more leadership within the team that I have needed that, and taking a bit more responsibilities, especially in their macro calling as well.
You've got an extra member of your
You've got
20K
an
club.
extra member of the 20K club. We talked about that before. You thought how many teams, how many players?
8 more.
So 11 total? You said 15 total? I think it's going to be more than that. I think it's going to be like 17 total. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Got 2 wins coming in from G2 so far here. And then, of course, Erangel is the next destination on our casual stroll through the world of PUBG. All right, here's a question, and I don't know if it even exists. Does PUBG have an overarching name for all their battlegrounds? There is no like specific name for like all of this where it exists. 'Cause it's like, okay, so it's based on certain locations on Earth or whatever. But are we on Earth? Is PUBG based on Earth, or are we on another planet? This is a really weird question.
Are you back on the Men in Black references now?
I just like space, right?
I thought that was my favorite.
Frost likes space too.
I like space.
I like space.
I like space.
I need to go home and cut that out. That was perfect. It's Frost sitting in his NASA shirt and saying,
like space.
I like space.
Oh my god, now here we go again.
I love it.
It's the PUBG version of I Like Turtles.
I think, you know what, I'm going to have that. I'm going to cut that perfectly with I like space and then repeat it. And then when Frost calls me, he's like, I like space. I like space. I like space.
Nice.
Yeah.
No.
Could be a ringtone for
Wait.
Frost.
You know that video of the cat where she says something in either Russian or Ukrainian, and then she puts a little flower on it, and then it like goes into the galaxies and stuff like that. You just gotta put a little Frost with a little leaf on his head.
I have
like
no
space.
idea what's going on. But hey, okay, if we get back to point there, we
If you want.
saw Tixu there in the top of the kill leaders with
Yeah.
96 kills. Do you know who's second place from Winstrike and how many kills they
That's
have?
far. Let's take a look at that.
Yes. Take a guess. Take a guess before you take a look.
Okay, I'll take a guess. 62 on Temen.
57 on Nuki.
Okay.
I mean, then you have Timmy on 52
I'm on
and
10.
Jorsky on 48.
Okay, so Tixu's actually fragging out two of his
He is
teammates.
fragging out hard.
Let's take a look at how many the other ones are real quick. The second one, of course, is FaZe, Bestelux 95, Ducian 92, and Kemper from CrowCrowd on 91 together with Pokemon.
Pokemon. All right, it's time. We're going to get into Erangel. It's going to be game number 71. The plane descends again, and it's time for the grassy pastures of Erangel. It's time for lovely London Lass Pansy, as well as Bradford Bad Boy Sims. Let's head over to our commentary team.
Whoa. I'm going to interrupt Pansy's usual intro here to say it's Leeds, not Bradford. Okay? James is from Bradford.
I think he's just found your old MSN username and you're upset. Bradford Bad Boy 69XD.
Let me just connect to the internet via AOL dial-up or AOL Messenger.
Wow.
Quickly updating my Bebo profile.
I never did Bebo.
No?
No, MySpace.
I tried doing MySpace, but I only had one friend,
Oh,
Tom.
good. No, I was a little edgelord. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that was my prime territory.
My header was a Splinter Cell header. I remember this well. Pro gamer.
Yeah, I still remember my song that played on my profile page. I'd spend hours finding a really awful, unheard of band so I could pretend I was cool. It was excellent. Military Circle is what we're praying for because we want to see what happens when FaZe are down there early. That's always the thing. Beyond that, I'm looking to see if there's any differences, any switch-ups. I don't really see too much different.
TSM all the way up at the top.
Yeah,
Top point.
I guess Milta's just not on the cards with this sort of circle. Plane path, so.
Yeah, it's kind of the same scenario we saw yesterday where when you see FaZe down here, you see TSM up there. Oh.
Feels
Smiles
FaZe,
in
man.
Wookie Bookie. Well,
Yeah.
they're going to have an easy run to it.
Hey,
So,
ENCE could
Clan
actually
not.
have a shout.
They have. But then again, didn't we see this yesterday or the day before where it was up there and they still didn't take full advantage of it?
Yes, but we also saw Raise Your Edge nade themselves.
That's a good point.
So
Anything
I was
can
having a great
happen.
time. Yeah, that was really good fun for me actually.
Team in Severny this time round. Sometimes a CrowCrowd, they like to linger on the edge.
Yeah.
Kick it around that open grass field area, shooting range. But they've actually gone deeper into Severny. There is They're playing Overwatch here, which I kind of like. The tabs out there early and those little yellows, which puts a bit of a spanner in the works if they wanted to, if ENCE wanted to make an approach on that position or a push for it. Squeaky, Mikas has actually gone to the cubes, even though there's only like 4 of them. It was cubes, 4-stack, whatever you want to call them.
I like to call it the 4-stack.
Crossroads, even though it's not a crossroad.
Yeah,
there's many different names for
we
it.
could probably make a better call for it, but, you know, it is what it is.
But it provides a lot of overlook that come across that bridge. And time again, even though you know someone's going to be there, people still fall into the trap and people die on that bridge.
I really want to respect TSM looting Zaki. I don't know why, I just don't get to see Zaki enough. I love a bit of Zaki.
Should start becoming a permanent drop zone for you in Publix. Where's Lauren? Zaki, mate. Where's the rest of the team? Pachinki. I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah. I really want to play PUBG. I've been missing it. That's the problem. Like I've been playing. You know, you like couple of new games come out. You're like, yeah, I'll try it out. And you kind of miss the PUBG vibe. I miss the PUBG vibe. I've been playing a little bit, but obviously, like when the update came out, did you get to try it much?
I watched more than I played.
Oh yeah. I tried to give it a watch, but I wasn't able to too much. But
it looks beautiful.
Erangel does look gorgeous. And the mantling's actually not as OP as I thought it would be. That's what surprised me.
Patch 30 and a new reskin map. This game is going in such a great way. Like,
yeah, it's doing all right, isn't it?
On the up every single time. It's a pleasure to watch. It's a pleasure to work with. It's a pleasure to play as well. Really quick to note while we're talking, Reciprocity has actually gone very, very early.
Yeah, it's probably a really good shout.
Earlier than Liquid, and we never usually see that from any team, to be fair.
I do wonder if this might spur on G2 to pay attention, because Chris is still in, somewhat of a location where he can get a couple of shots across. I don't think he'll commit to it, but he could.
And they shouldn't be here, in theory. I know they might predict that TSM's moved on, but this is a further push from G2. He'll now be giving the information to the player on the back lines.
Yeah, it is a weird one.
If we see Udyr make an advancement here...
That's good. No. Like, Reciprocity are playing it cautious and smart. I like that, apart from Hexeni.
Yep.
He's got there.
It's
just dipping
avoiding
away.
any
Yeah,
potential
that's really nice.
fight.
Even if they know that TSM are or are not here, doesn't really matter for me.
Yep.
I like the way that they've been, been cautious by doing this.
And it's paid off as well, because if they'd have gone down that road, Chris had just fed them all the information to Udyr, and he could have just completely smashed them on that side road. Now they've gone all the way around. Looks like they're going to... I wonder if they pull up somewhere else to go looting, because that was a very early disengage from Millie Island.
Look, if they've seen the FaZe have come over, they can always just dip through it. If they really want to be quick, if they can be quick. I don't know how quickly they can just get it now, but...
pull up already, so I'm assuming that would be...
It's a really smart response, actually, from Reciprocity. I think it's a really good kind of pickup.
Okay, this is clever.
Well, if they've seen FaZe, so they have vision on the fact that it's not just Unity over there. They've seen another team come down. More than likely to be FaZe, if you watch yesterday's games, confirming it. That's a really good response. And they obviously get the Eastern Bridge being far more accessible than FaZe would, even if FaZe wanted to go to Milta.
Yep.
So yeah, really nice. Really, really nice adaptation there. We do see all the other teams now, the early movers, getting into position. Already, obviously, Vitality up there. The Knights, ENCE, of course, not surprising. TSM on the way as well. All heading to that northern side. Getting away from Rozhok, across the little river that runs through. And we'll be heading right into the slap bang of the action.
TSM might hit the backside of Severny.
FaZe bridge camped for a second.
It will be safe if they do so, or they might pull it down.
What a shout from Reciprocity.
It's good, isn't it?
God, they had no idea that this was going to be the case, right? Like, Reciprocity had no clue that FaZe would set up a bit of a camp on this one.
Seb.
We've got a crash.
We spoke about him earlier on. This is where he went from the very start, and he's been monitoring it. Is he going to blaze from this and just say no? I think he's going, because he knows he's outmanned and outgunned, so he's just running.
Can he get away, though?
Oh!
Kemba! Where did Kemba just come from?
That's
and Senpai,
further down.
Plowed in. That's nice going. They've at least been able to trade that out.
Nice refrag, at least.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing. They might even put them on warning point here that it's not necessarily the best place to go. The team that actually pays dividends off the back of this fight is TSM, because they've been allowed to set up on the hillside. It's just to the west of Severny, or the east, depending which way you look from it. You shouldn't be able to get to that without a fight, but they have done, because CrowCrowd have actually advanced on this. That they might have got greedy here by doing this and going forward. They don't realize that ENCE is also knocking on the door, or actually a little bit scared, and for good reason.
No.
Mikas out the back of the vehicle. That's going to be 2 points to CrowCrowd, but not without response to losing one player.
That's pretty shocking.
It's unlucky for ENCE, because they were pulling up on there, they were scouting it, but CrowCrowd had basically just been batted up there by Vitality.
Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. This, these are the circles, right? If you're ENCE, you finally feel like you got a really nice shot at it. You should be able to keep 4 alive. There shouldn't be too much pressure. We do see time and time again the teams who do get not necessarily like center circle, but good step, can lose out on players every now and then. But we've seen it happen to FaZe when they're down in Milter, and obviously Milter Power. The circle goes that way. Sometimes they get caught off, they lose a player, but it's bad to see ENCE happening because this is one that they need. I think FaZe have realized, Gaxi, you dirty boy, what is that? Oh, Drayden, sweet summer child. Look at that angle he's working with. It's through the damn trees. The trade is there though, not without answers. Narc gets crept up, kept the control just a tap away. That vert grip paying a hell of a lot there. Just keep that perfect control. Wanted pushed up as well. That DP might do some damage up here if Miraku and Cup of Magic aren't careful. God, I wish we saw the POV of that one. Oof.
Still lingering. Must have been through the tree line as well, out the back of it. FaZe, we did see them setting up a bridge encampment. They're disengaging from it now. Clearly waiting for Reciprocity to make some sort of movement, maybe even unity, but both teams are proactive. So, you know what? We'll just avoid them completely. Rec, good play. You touched on it. And
they might even get
fantastic.
a crate.
Yeah, there is a crate up on Severny.
What a touch for them.
So they get free loot, free vehicles, free complete opening, to be fair. Nobody is that side of the map. If this swings Stalber, they are laughing.
Yeah, this could be really good for Reciprocity. 2 drops over there. If they pull up on this.
Double. They just, how does that? That's so lucky.
Which dev is a Reciprocity fan? Yeah, if you guys don't know it, obviously there is a map stream. Feel free to open it so you get the full picture of what's happening. I don't know if Reciprocity have seen those drops. I hope they do, because that would be brilliant as a pickup.
It's not actually a double drop. It's a drop on top of a drop. So there's 2 waiting. And if they see one, they'll see the second just falling slowly behind. There it is. If Hack sees it and spots them, that's a lot of gear, and it's gone their way. Wreck.
Can you believe it?
Pick where you want to go, boys. This game is an opener for you.
All right, so Hack said he's going to get the 3'd-up gear. That's fine. It's where those 3 other players go to. That's what I'm looking at, because they need to be proactive and quick. I think they'll want that kind of hangar compound. Yeah, exactly.
Really
That'd be
good.
very nice, very strong. Keep the cars safe. Execution from Gemty. Look at that. Just barreling in. There's a pickup. Look at this. You love to see it. Geared up, Haxetti now on the way. There is still another crate out there. If he drives past, he might see it. Don't know if he will. If he beelines you as the crow flies, he might get a glimpse, but that's beyond the point. That's a really nice pickup regardless. They've got the additional loot from Milter Power.
Oh, look
and
at
all of
everyone
these
moving.
teams, it's all past this compound. This little area where Ratio Edge currently reside has got about 3, 4, 5 teams all heading past it. G2's not far from this either. I think CrowCrowd might be on the other side too. This is a dangerous place to be.
There's so many people. Chris doesn't know which one to shoot at. Brexco in the back line, CC here as well
DA
as Razor Edge.
Gustav
has actually taken out Dimash. You can watch that in the kill feed. That's on the northern edge of the map, which is good because that now allows them to move them. The rest of M19 will keep on going, but they have to be very aware. Winstrike is just tailing them. They can't stop. Their player's dead, so carry on doing whatever you want. TSM, take the pick, boys. Stalber's open, go where you like. Reciprocity, they set up. That was the prime position. DA have arrived here. This is a very strong compound. You have to expect it to be pushed. You have to be careful, though, because it's rather open. But
what's Mert doing?
He's going in willy-nilly. This could be the death of him.
No, Mert. If you turn that, that's just sloppy from Raffi. Raffi has made an error. Sure, Mert played well to get it, but that is a huge error from Raffi. That could now open up the complete floodgates. Haxetti's only just turned up. They were holding that with 3. They needed those 3 alive. Now they've lost step here. They've lost that kind of western side control that you'd really like, because that hillside rolls down, and now they're sharing this compound. That could have been theirs. That could have been a lot of points in the bag.
How do you pull? He should not have been allowed to pull up at that compound. You can't let that happen. And then he gets out of the car, and Raffi goes down. That's the second time. It happened in the first game.
Shiv is screwed.
Oh, there's a grenade.
Oh, the nade!
It's
Sixmo threads the needle, and Shiv goes down. This is devastating. I would be livid if I'm Reciprocity.
They're having to disengage. They've lost every single bit of map control, everything they had going for them, the crate, the map, the compound, potentially even the win. It's just gone straight down the toilet. That's... Yeah, they should have been ready for that pull-up. It's a prime position. All right, there is a bit of a cut-off where you can't see down the hill, but you can hear the vehicles. You should have had all the players on red alert, ready to receive the oncoming assault. You knew they were going to come this way.
Yeah, there is no excuse here. Now, beyond that, I know you guys on the map were losing your mind about the Na'Vi player. It's just desync. It happens. If you watch PUBG in the early days, it happened a lot more. Don't worry. It's all good. Now, back to this compound. Menox, reach and clear. He's just checking everything, trying to find the angles, make sure there's no one sneaking around in the same buildings. We do have that contact on CrowCrowd continuing. In the southern side, Na'Vi, FaZe, Team Liquid, and OP. Liquid very uncentral. Actually, very far away. That was the little thread, the needle coming in. Look, a bit of that. TSM have taken over StarLadder.
And there's still that crate that no one's touched yet. So Wrecker Force back. Ooh, fast rail. Took one to the back of the skull there. And Jack will have to get the heels off. The rest of Erangel now have to turn on the defensive just to give him that cover that he needs in order to get his meds up. Look at how spread FaZe Clan is going, and you know what? It could have paid off here. Martin wanted a Yasnaya finish. Ooh, it's closing in on it. It's closing in. There is a bit of water there, so it should shift away from it with circle 4. But it means the backside we either go down or we go all the way to the east. So you either get the top side of Yasnaya or the whole of Yasnaya in the next circle.
We'll see. I mean, we had Leones. It can happen. NIP on the move. They're going to try and find their home ground, and a doozy. It's just a doozy saying, no, Miracle and a couple of Magic are the ones to fall. Bard hits the gas, gets out of there, might just have to fly into Yasnaya somewhere and just find a building just to hold on to. Oh my god,
don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall.
No, Bard! Bard! He's gone flying!
Well, you don't see that every day. F in the chat. Poor Vard.
Oh, raise your edge, middle of the field. Not nice either. Oh, this is tough. They're trying to come back home.
Oh, they didn't have his seatbelt on. Grenades just touching on the sides of these buildings. Not much to play with.
Oh my god, it almost went over.
It's doable. I mean, you can see what they're trying to do. It's happened again. There is going to be verticality on the grenades, but again, the splash damage will do the damage. You can see what Unity is trying to do. It would work better if they threw the grenades together and went left and right at the same time to funnel them into one position. They are trying to force them to one side to get the kill, but they're not doing it at the same time. So this is why you're seeing back and forth, back and forth. If they manage to throw one grenade over and then get one at the same time, Squeaky's gone down, by the way, in the kill feed. Tixu's been copped. That's Reciprocity. Scoom's on his own, so he needs to do the damage and get the job done. I'm looking for the confirmation on that kill just so they can continue onwards, which he does. That's going to be some range with the SLR. Reciprocity live to fight another day. Yasnaya's looking busy. G2, Raise Your Edge, Unity, Liquid, and Na'Vi knocking at the back door. They've come down from the fields. FaZe Clan on TSM. They're out in the east. We have battles all over the place. This is about to get messy.
Yeah, it's going to get very messy. The Knights still looking for a way in as well. Vitality are laying bullets in towards them. The northern side is a little bit more sparse, a little bit, freer, and I can imagine this is only insult to injury for Reciprocity. That compound is very comfortable for DA currently. Haxetti and Scoom back in the car on the way. Senya's been caught off by Gemty. That's over in Yasnaya. A lot of these teams are banking on this, and apparently Na'Vi, it's not just Senya, it's Bestaloch as well. The response is coming through, but it's too little too late. It's a doozy and Pokemon, the only one standing.
It's a bit of a return from game number 1, where it was almost the same scenario. Liquid and Na'Vi, each other's necks. But it is Liquid who come out on top of this one, removing 2. Goes back to being a stalemate. They force themselves back to the police station, library, whatever you want to call it. There is a priority compound there, just one little building with a 3-story on it, so you'll have some kind of verticality to look out and see if you can catch them. Where's she going to go? Yasnaya?
Go on, Yaz, go on. Oh, it's got a bit of it in.
Okay, so we end up going to the north. And yeah, DA they're laughing. They've pulled up. They've not lost a single player during the pull-up, and they now have the circle. You know what the bigger problem is here? How the hell do you get out of Yaz? Should that circle go more north? How in God's name do you get out of it?
I don't know. It's a very big open field. That's the thing, right? You've literally got the field to the east. It's super open.
Sorry to break you off, Lauren. This is actually really clever and actually quite nasty of FaZe. They're pulling up directly in front of TSM to actually stop any advancement. It's a very open area where they're stopping, but they're literally playing border patrol to lock TSM out of the zone and maybe kill all of them.
Isn't there a building there as well? I might be mistaken.
It's
I'm
like
trying to remember.
Shack, maybe?
I'm trying to think, because I know there's that big ridge, that big divot that comes down further east behind TSM, but I'm trying to remember.
One with the toilet in the back.
There is,
yes,
yeah.
there is a small,
There it is. There we go. So I think FaZe actually have a really good shot at this now. They control the east quite comfortably. They need to be careful of the high ground. That's why they put Uber and ENCE up there. TSM going on the 2-2. Rory and Wookie trying to find out what's in front of them. Gustav just going to wait. He's waiting for info. He's kind of locked into this. But that hillside, right, this is what we're going to be seeing a lot of, I think, down the line once these teams from the north move in, is using this rock face. The entirety of that StarLadder runoff is going to be littered with teams. That's the Knights getting a lot of attention from Na'Vi, or what remains of Na'Vi, the 2 players, trying to slow these boys down, and they've at least stopped the car.
Yeah, the Knights have been having a difficult game so far. from 1-to-1. Mexi onto Michael. That's a cross map. They need to be careful of the retrade off, though, because Rory's pushing hard. Gustav in with a grenade. They get the knock back onto Fuzzface. Here comes the push. That's a big
nice nade.
grenade, though. At the back, does the damage. That might be job done. Rory and ENCE trade off there.
Wookiee's nade
with the
found
grenade.
ENCE. Yeah, that's big. That's actually go turn. They've taken down one player from either side of this hold. So that's going to open up huge amounts of room. If only, you had Rory on his feet still, that could have been big. But you're going to see them try and consolidate themselves together. And Uber needs to be able to deal with Wookieee at this point. And the nade just explodes in front of his face. Gustav focused towards trying to help Michael back up. Maybe TSM can recover this. I'm not sure, because that third party coming in is not helping.
You can see him getting stolen. He's avoided it for now as he goes behind the rock face. ENCE will be able to get a res from Uber. The pickup is real inside the shack. Still got Mexi as well. Bike goes down. CrowCrowd are out 15 place for them. Gustav does get Michael back on his feet. The meds are there, but they are outside exposed. They have to run this road, and more importantly, the Blues on the back. The only way is forward right now is a hold W, but it's all on Wookieee. If he can stop FaZe advancement down the hillside, then they've got a chance, but it's a difficult job. 2 members in there versus 1. I'm going to hope and pray it goes your way.
Yeah, nice control there from, I think it was James who got that shot. Yeah, it was. Really nicely done. Jazza put on alert, but there's so many threats everywhere here. Reciprocity have just gone down. Na'Vi turned up. They crashed it. They swept that aside. DA were poised to do the same thing as well from above, and that's very disappointing for Reciprocity, I'm sure. They had a very good shot at that one initially. Now, that aside, let's look over here, because we've got G2 and Liquid in a bit of a scuffle as well. Nice little nade comes in. That's not quite close enough to do much, but it could have been dangerous. Mexi's playing on the edge of that smoke, hoping to catch maybe Gustav or Michael, trying to push up from that blue. But they are safe. Obviously, this is not the place you want to be playing, because Uber and ENCE will get vision when those smokes go.
You can see someone's tapping away at Uber, though. He needed... That's a long nade. Holy hell. Okay. Now they've got it. Now they're in all kinds of trouble. The bombs are flying from uphill. ENCE follows up as well. There is a response from Wookieee. Bucky, he needs to get the knockoff, which he does. But you can see from the opposing side, there is a third party here. Gustav runs out. Mexi's got a grenade in hand. 1-on-1 for the final compound. Down he goes. Now it is a 1-on-1 completely. FaZe is eliminated. A doozy finds Uber getting the res off. This has gone well for TSM, but they are broken. They are battered. What do they have left in the tank?
Enough to put a smoke down and maybe get the res, but look at Wanted creeping up on this. Wanted could spoil all of that. All of that happened, and he might just spot them out, getting the heal behind the tree. We'll see if it happens. That's Fast Rail, and the Raise Your Edge guys still playing on the very much border of Yasnaya. Not really able to move from those compounds, or not even compounds, the sheds as such. G2 and Team Liquid close enough by. G2 hold the circle. That's going to be a big fight when they move forward. The nades come in, and Ibby is just as good as anyone else with them. This could be push time, and what a fight that would be. Chris, Udir still stand. DA look on in the distance. And already Liquid losing out on a player. That's pretty big, but can Ibby get the line of sight towards Udir? He definitely will, and that nade comes out. There it is. He's caught a glimpse. Nade now being ticked. Jeems being tagged up. He's trying to get that reload as best he can, hopefully. There it is. 6 nades for himself as well, looking to be able to find a way. Udir still pinned as Ibby starts the run, and there's tags in the back.
Yeah, G2 have been hit from multiple angles. Vitality goes down 10th place for them. Sigzy actually knocked out by a doozy. So that's not good, but he's also been confirmed. G2, back-to-back winners, 9th place. Now, the thing for Raise Your Edge was that Unity had to come their way. Oh, that grenade. Oh, that grenade. It's so good. They're all dead. You can't allow him to move up like that. They weren't watching the cross. And by hook or by crook, I have no idea how, but Unity have made it out of the buildings. They were being held back for so long.
Those initial nades they were throwing looked pretty tasty, and now you've seen the kind of proof in the pudding. But there it is. Wanted finally strikes. He was closing in on the TSM players. Him and Znark pretty much combining there, it felt like. So they've done well to be able to get out of that situation. They're the last ones in the east. Na'Vi do look their way. Unity continue from the south. Team Liquid have made it past G2, past Winstrike, and now DA stand in their way further up that hill.
Doozy and Pokemolodai, last 2 from Na'Vi. They're going to play the hillside, but they have to be careful. Don't get overexposed from behind, and Snark and Wanted get involved. The dynamic duo. All 4 players of Unity still going slow, but that's fine. They can take the body box and pick up anything.
They're trying to get shots on Liquid here.
Well, they basically have all the goodies that, well, whatever was left over, should I say, from Raise Your Edge. And get any bits of gear, ammo, meds, utility if they're alt left, smokes and whatnot. Still have to be careful and be aware of Jeems with that Kar 98. Should he hit a headshot from the distance, maybe Liquid are allowed to make some sort of advancement on it.
There's the first spot, yeah. Ibby's been caught there.
I think he'd been, don't quote me, I think he was getting the full field kit off for the simple fact I did see it. It might have been just me. I'm guessing he's been spotted. He was tagged up before. If not, that was definitely a spot then. But it feels like all the rest of the teams are going to just kind of chill and reposition for now, because it's DA who have to make the first move and Liquid who can hold them.
But DA don't have to move that far. They still have the cliff face.
They do. It depends if they want to be proactive. They don't have to do it if they want to stay alive.
I think they're fine. They're safe. No one's going to come up from the north of them. No one's coming from the east. Na'Vi trying to deal with Unity is going to be the big fight coming in. Team Liquid can try and third party, but I think this cliff face will keep them safe. DA can't really get shots on Na'Vi, and I don't think they work either way because of the cliff and the way it rolls down. This is the potential fight here, unless the Knights find line of sight or you get a Kar 98 shot. That's all you're going to get here, but limited amounts of bullets left there. The 7.6 is running low, 14 spare, 5 ready to be shot. Team's trying to carve away, and they do still have a vehicle. That could be nice down the line if they need some sort of Hail Mary play.
I suppose the good thing is he's also running a 5.56 AR, so yeah. Ammo's fine. These players tend to run about 80 in reserve. You don't want to use too much, and it's just because of, you can see by his utility belt anyway, the grenade's already strapped on. They hold so many smokes and so many grenades. It does take up a lot of room, and the 7.62 weighs more than the 5.56, so you'd have to expect the trade-off to be that James is still holding all his utility. The vehicle you mentioned might come into play as they do push up. They're getting further afield. They're going deeper inside the circle and extending their arms reach. This is the grenade from earlier on. Neither player knew what was going on, but
bad.
I think it was just a bit of a unlucky third party as well. They were being hit by two different angles from two different teams, and whoever the player was with the grenade just took full advantage of the situation.
We do need to keep our eyes on...
Hello.
Maybe I do need that Red Bull. We do need to keep our eyes on DA because it looks like they're trying to get a feel of where they can go. If you are looking down the line sort of plan, you can't stay up there. They're kind of spreading east and west. Out in the west, you do have Team Liquid waiting, who've already moved across into a more... You've got Ibby kind of trying to get himself into a new spot. A Beautiful Death still has the bikes. They still have some vehicles up here as well, so they can try and make a mad dash. Maybe the east could house them, maybe on the same sort of level that the others are on. We'll see what they opt for here. They still have a lot of room to work with. They just can't over-peak it, but I don't think they will.
Calm before the storm, all three members of Liquid. Ready with the scars. Should they have a grip and compensators on, they're going to be nasty up close and personal. That's fire from a distance, so DA now.
Brendan just got muted in chat.
Oh.
He shouted. That's what you get. No hard shifts allowed. Here we go. This will be all right. Unity now put to a little bit of a test. Okay. This is going to be a stalemate. I feel like once those first couple of knocks come in, everything kind of goes off. Everyone tries to, like, you know, springboard a little further forward, try to get that next position. And it's the Knights who get spotted out first. That's Na'Vi looking to the east. Now, this could allow Unity a little bit of time to move forward. And it does seem as though we start those engagements. Ibby keeps trying to test the waters. How far can I get? How far can I get? And every time he's getting spotted by one of these teams.
Imagine if that Randy nade just clips a player. You get the information, then you can make something happen and advance on it. Pokemon Lane must know. If they're using vehicles as well, that have given away the game completely. Snark still in the distance, not making too much. Wanted to just hit the deck and been crawling his way with the disco plate for some time now. Here's an LMG, but it still hits like a tank. Bit of a kick on it. Can do some work should he spot anybody.
I've got this kind of like bigger area here that's somewhat further to the west where Ibby's kind of being kept safe from Na'Vi. There's that little bit of a line in the middle almost. And everyone's so cautious here. Look at this. Every bit of cover is being utilized. Unity are trying to move up a little bit. They're trying to, you know, step by step by step, using the kind of roll-off cover of the hill for now. But eventually, you got to feel they've got to move up here.
I think it's Unity is going to cause the main problems because you do have that plateau and you do have the rock faces that Ibby can work off the back of. You have the rocks and the trees for Jeems and Jempty. Unity will be able to see DA. Should a knock come through on DA, I wonder if Jeems makes an advance. Oh, Jeems is overextended. I wonder if he's waiting. Yep, there we go.
Oh, hit
now
the
he's
shot,
looking for the
Jempty.
angle. There is a response at least. Got to be careful jumping off, though. That might hurt. Breaks his legs on the way down. He did enough damage that he just...
You hate to see that.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh no, trade though. That's good. That's a good answer back. That's bought them a bit of time. If they want to try and think about a revive, at least they've got this. But Jempty's moving up. Look at Jempty. He doesn't allow a man to go down without a trade coming in. Unity are trying to dive in on this. Everyone's now responding. This is what I mean. But look at Jempty creeping and crawling. The threat that waits, but Mert absolutely shatters him. DA are holding on to this.
And Ibby has been spotted as well. Ibby's down to about 50% HP, so someone's found him and tanked him up. They can now let Jeeves just bleed out in the way side. He'll do nothing. Excuse me, he's already gone. So, DA come out on top. They make it past the wall of Liquid and keep 4 alive as well.
Ibby is at the mercy of being kept safe basically by Unity.
Please don't shoot me. Just snaking inside
Friendly
the
and
rocks.
Cherno, just leave him alone, all right? Jeez. All right, Ibby is gonna just, he will not shoot unless he has to. Hopefully, because the thing is, well, if you're iron sighting up and over there, your gun will kind of take the spot where Ibby is if they're just directly above him. Mert could be the problem. Na'Vi have stayed alive this entire time. They still have their 2 players looking this way. Don't want to see his feet. Now, Unity,
Gone.
There he goes. They did peek over as Iroh to spot him. Let's look at who's left then. We have the Knights playing very calm in the east. We have DA still in the north with 4 players standing. That's big. Unity in the south with 4 players standing, and then Na'Vi being nasty in the middle of it all.
Deal just check these rocks. It's going to be good coverage for them should they be allowed to play off the back of it. Unity will be able to see all this as they look upwards towards the mountainside. Probably don't realize that Na'Vi's squished in between them right up against it. Both players laying down. Proning and waiting. No cover from the backline, so should they be able to see them,
I
but
think
again...
Snark's been spotted, or is it Wanted? Yeah, Wanted's been spotted out by Mert.
Insta.
Nice pickup. That's what the high ground ops for you here. This gives you so much vision, so much control, and even look at the cover that Unity now have to work with. It's so little. They don't have many trees, they don't have many rocks. They do have, I think, a vehicle or two, but running it at this point, so risky.
God, if you Reciprocity, you're going to be kicking yourself now, aren't you? I'm sorry to bring it back up, but...
Oh no, I'd be gutted.
It's rather unfortunate, but they let DA pull up, and it shouldn't have happened. But it has, and we are in this scenario.
Careful, Mert.
Blue
Away from the blue.
starts to do a fair amount of damage during this phase. Next one's going to be chunking you down a huge amount, so you've got to play off the back of that. Mini with the 8 times does the job. Beautiful Death has given a warning shot. Circle is gone. We now start to creep towards the middle. DA have to be very careful, though, because if they decide, think, you know what, let's get ahead of the game, let's get in front of them.
Like Iroh's doing.
This is where Na'Vi
Like
strikes.
Sixmo, like Mert is doing.
Hits them in the back.
Oh god, Na'Vi, Pokemon, he's the first to strike like a snake in the grass. He waited, Mert goes down, Sixmo and Iroh. I'm almost certain a Doozy's heard this. He's got 6 kills, but maybe he's waiting for Unity to try and deal with him. Maybe that's the plan. Still 2 nades. You can't just prone in this one, DA. You got to take the fights here. A Beautiful Death still on the high ground. Pokemon position is noted. He has to play from that position.
They were coming down from the mountains. They were checking all those gaps before because they know Liquid was lingering. They just did not expect anyone, but you need to expect the unexpected in this game, especially at this phase. There are going to be teams kicking it on these rocks. Maybe not the ghillie suit hiding him on the rock side. Who knows? But Unity do have an eye line on this one, and they now know they can't advance forward because you have Na'Vi sat there. And all of a sudden, Unity. It's time for them.
They can do really well. They've got
Blaston has
utility
one grenade left. Make it count.
He could
Remember
maybe
they
dig
spent a lot
Sixmo
of
out
it
this,
earlier
yeah.
on Raise Your Edge.
They did all those nades. All right. It's going to be game time now. Pokemon hits the deck. Smokes go up. Snark's found him. That is big play actually coming out in the end, but the Knights have gone down. A quick turn. A doozy! A doozy! What is that? He's going to surely get traded on. Tizerin seen him. There's the shots. It's down to Unity up against just Iroh, but Iroh is doing damage, and Unity are left with only 2 standing. This is a 1v2. It's certainly possible, but can he get the heal off? No, I don't think he wants to take the time on it. Can he spot them? Does he know them? He's looking. He's waiting.
Random
the
grenade.
blue is on his back soon enough. He's got to keep moving up here. Where's the info? Oh, Dastish with the angle. And what a bit of play in the end for Unity, keeping calm under pressure. They bided their time, and eventually they got there.
DA, though, it has to be said, not checking that rock face cost them 3 players. Doozy hits one, and at the end, the last player finds 2 back-to-back. Doesn't secure the kill, at least gets the knock through, and then Unity come back with an insta-headshot, job done. Vitality, a team down at the bottom of the leaderboard this week so far, at the bottom of the leaderboard so far across the league, looking broken. And this is where we start to look at the teams, the composure, Lauren. How's the mindset? What's going on? Earlier on, we looked towards FaZe Clan. They didn't look happy. Not all smiles we usually see from Fuzzface. It's starting to be crunch time. There's a lot on the line, and for 4 of these teams, potentially, the end of the Pro League.
Well, this is it, isn't it, right? It's changing career. These guys have been able to live